pines where the stories grow tall. In the heart of the town, there's room for us all. From the corner diner to the Friday game, every face here knows your name. What's new, what's next, what's coming alive? Washington Township keeps the vibe. Beyond the welcome sign, always where we meet. Every story's got a heartbeat. Beyond the welcome sign, the world feels small. Come on in, there's room for us all.
Welcome to Beyond the Welcome Sign. I am Mayor Anthony Dellapia. I am joined today with Council President Peter Dabarello.
Mayor, good morning.
Councilman Joe Harris.
Mayor.
I have Frank Altamiro, Director of Public Works.
Mayor.
And Brian McCaffrey, our Supervisor of Public Works. So our episode today, we're going to touch on what our Public Works does for our town by keeping it beautiful, maintaining it, and our everyday services that we have. So I think we'll get right into it. So Frank, Brian, let's start with our open space. I know we have countless amount of acres. We have our not our football fields, but our baseball fields, our parks, our Washington Lake Park, and everything else throughout the town. What is the process to maintain them, take care of them, and what are some of the struggles you guys deal with having so many acreage?
Take that one?
It's a lot.
Yeah, so Washington Lake Park in and of itself is the largest municipal park in the whole state of New Jersey. Mixed use, has athletic fields that need constant maintaining, all the recreation facilities, playgrounds, things of that nature. So just from a pure grass standpoint, there's 8 different fields in the park that need to be cut 2 days a week. And that's about 10 acres of actual grass that needs to be cut. In addition to that, when you're talking about sports, we have our football complex that has 3 full football fields. They need to be cut twice a week. We have 2 soccer complexes, one at County House Road and one over behind the movie theater Regal. That's the Levy Memorial Field. They need to be mowed twice a week in peak season. The baseball complex, which is another 9 acres, that needs to be mowed twice a week. So just athletic fields alone require quite a bit of maintenance. We have our municipal golf course that we have a full-time superintendent who does a phenomenal job for us, and his operation goes, year-round. It's not just summer months. He's got to keep that place, all the leaves that come down, keep it open and playable for our golfers. So from just a sports recreation point of view, there's quite a bit of maintenance to do.
And you guys line them as well, right? So that's a whole nother level of work you guys have to do to prepare for these sports. So when their kids are out on that soccer field or a football field or a baseball field, you guys are lining and maintaining that as well.
That's correct. And at any point in time when it comes to soccer, they can have as many as 30 to 40 fields out there because they have these youth clinics. They're not a real elaborate field. It's just a box with a line going through the middle for those clinic fields, but just those alone, I believe there's close to 30, and they need to be repainted weekly or they fade. And then you look at during football season, we have the main football field at the East Holly Football Complex that not only does that get the lines, but it gets hash marks, it gets numbers, it gets colors. So we have a pair of guys who handle all that lining. So every day, basically, from when sports start in March, which is hard to believe in the Northeast, we're getting fields set up for baseball and soccer in March. They're then busy from March until we start picking up leaves, just continually lining these fields. That takes 2 of my staff to do that. And then if you transition to just the buildings we take care of, right? We have the grass at the municipal building, the senior center, the CAC. All that gets weekly cuts, maybe bi-weekly at the least. And then we have all of our open space, which is thousands of acres, roadside right-of-ways, open space that's built into developments. There's parks built into some of these developments. We have Grenlock Park, we have Quay Park, and just a lot of continuous green space that needs to be mowed, usually bi-weekly, sometimes every 3rd week. So there's certainly a lot to do. We're lucky that we have a really good staff that have been doing it for a long time. They know their job. And if you want to get a little bit into the detail, the breakdown of our department, so people have kind of an idea of how we're handling this with how many people. Department of Public Works consists of 32 employees. Of that, we have 4 auto mechanics who are responsible for the maintenance of our police fleet, our public works fleet, all of our equipment that we use to do the grass cutting,
And heavy equipment.
and heavy equipment to work on. So we have 4 full-time mechanics, which drops us down to 28. We have 2 building maintenance folks that keep our buildings clean and safe, Shirley and Donna. So that's down to 26. Then we have 4 gentlemen who are our building maintenance department. That would be guys that come over here that built this room that we're sitting in. Very talented
Great
group
job
of
too, by the
people. So you get a broken pipe, you get a clogged toilet, you get an office that needs to be painted. We have 4 buildings and grounds guys that take care of that. We also have a full-time bus driver that handles our senior citizens, taking them shopping, taking them to medical appointments. So that brings us down to 21, and 4 full-time employees in Washington Lake Park that handle the grass cutting, the building maintenance, and things of that nature down there. So that leaves us in Department of Public Works to do all the things that we're talking about 17 people. Wow. And then you factor in vacations and time off. I often call it a shell game. You're prioritizing, figuring out how to best allocate your resources. But again, we have a very, very good staff. A lot of them have been here more than 10 years, so they know what they're doing, and they're able to really go out and take care of all this stuff with just a little bit of direction from me of where they need to go, and then they kind of take it and run with it. We're very blessed that way.
Great. You guys do a great job. We know it's a big lift to take care of it, and like you said, in the summer it's when people are going on vacation. So I'm sure you have 2-3 guys out with that demand because the games happen when they happen. You have to get it done.
Yeah.
So if that open space is a couple days later, hopefully the residents can understand that it's not we're neglecting them, we're not getting there. It's we have to prioritize where your resources can go at that particular time.
And not to cut them short, but they also handled all the irrigation repairs for all the sports fields.
Okay.
And in the wintertime is when they actually help out with stormwater, with maintaining basins and head walls and stuff like that there.
Oh, great. Well, thank you.
They do a lot.
Well, guys, give us some of your background. So we heard some of the background of some of these guys. Give us some of your background. I know you guys have been with the town for quite some time, so please give us your background.
Well, I've been here since 1991, so I'm in my 35th year of service.
Yeah.
I grew up here, went to school here, and now I've worked here. I love it. I love the town. I've met a lot of people. I met a lot of different residents. Some I made happy, some I've turned off.
Not so happy, right, sure.
But I can't make everybody happy.
Right,
But
yeah.
we strive to do that.
Sure.
We every chance we get. I mean, sometimes it's, they want the instant gratification. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
With roads, resurfacing the roads, and they, and some residents have been here, 15, 20, 25 years, and the roads, they need it. So we just have to budget and do the most economical way of doing it. So we try to do that in an efficient way.
Yeah. So speaking of longevity, though, what has your path been from the time you were hired up until you're in the position you're in right now?
Oh, I started as a laborer, started at the bottom,
Yeah.
and now I'm director of public works. So it was through the course of my career, that I've learned a lot. Just with Department of Environmental Protection, with environment and stormwater and all the regulations that change stuff every day, year to year. So we have to be compliant with that, and I make sure that the town is staying compliant with all that.
Great.
How's your first year as director been? Has it been what you thought? I know we've had a lot of things thrown at us this first year, but is it what you thought the job would be, being a director?
Yes, I kind of had a taste prior to actually being titled as director. So I did a lot of the responsibilities, prior to this, but the days go fast. My
Yes.
days are filled, they're longer. Obviously, there's more responsibility, but that's what I signed up for. So I look forward to coming to work every day.
Well, that's great. You do a good job.
Thank you.
So for me, I started working for Washington Township in 1997.
Wow.
I was a park ranger at that time. So I spent 4 years as a park ranger. Then in 2001, I actually left the township for a period of time. I went to college for a few years and was doing a few things. And then in 2005, Paul Moriarty was elected as mayor, and he hired my previous director of public works, a gentleman by the name of Jim McKeever, and he reached out to me and said, we would really like to have you back. Would you be interested in coming back to work for the township? So we had some discussions, and I came back and abandoned what I was my teaching ambitions, because I was going to school to be a teacher, and I took the opportunity to come back to work here. So I started in 2005, my second stint as a laborer in public works, and I've been here ever since. I've been a laborer, a driver. In 2016, I was promoted to supervisor, and I've been in that role ever since. I'm married. I live in Washington Township. I have my whole entire life. So my wife's name is Nicole. She's a real estate agent in town. And I have two beautiful boys, 11 and 8 years old, Brian and Colin, who are very much involved in all of our sports programs in town. So I coach a couple teams, assistant coach on a baseball team, head coach of a basketball team last year, assistant coach of a basketball team this year. At the mayor's request, I joined the Sports Advisory Board Committee in January of 2025. After years of people asking me to do that, I finally agreed, because my guys are in the thick of it.
And I was honored you said yes.
I appreciate
I-
it.
Has that been the toughest position here in the town? Is that one of the tougher ones? I mean, it's one of the tougher boards, right? Don't
It
you
is
think?
rewarding but tough. There's challenges.
Sure.
Listen, parents are passionate about their children.
I agree.
As they should
Agreed.
be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a parent is their child's biggest advocate.
Sure.
And
way to put it.
sometimes emotions on those sidelines run high. We have to deal with sometimes some uncomfortable things where folks probably act in a way that they shouldn't. There's always the disappointment of a kid not making a team that they tried out for, and parents sometimes question the method and the process, and I understand all of that.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a difficult board, because a lot of these kids I know.
Yeah.
And I having kids in sports, my kids didn't always make the teams I want them to make. So it's difficult, but it's also very rewarding, because we're finding ways to improve these processes of tryouts, of making signups a little more seamless, any number of things. Yeah. So yes, it is a challenging board to be on. Very dynamic group of people that are really passionate about our town and our sports. So I really have enjoyed it. It's been challenging, but also rewarding at the same time. So so I basically worked here. I'm 48 years old. More than half of my adult life, I've been service in this town. So like Frank said, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's certain times where it's more challenging than others, and we're going to talk about snow coming up, because we just had a snowstorm. Whenever you're going to actually watch this, we're filming this in mid-December, and we had a snowstorm 2 days ago, and we're going to get into some details about that. Those are challenging times, but I do like what I do. I have good support from all you folks here. Frank and the administration always give me the resources we need to do the job, which makes life easier. But it's very good to serve the community in which you live and your family lives. So I do enjoy what I do.
And I can tell you, everything here in the township is a group effort. And whenever I get a compliment, I always say I can't accomplish anything without having a great team around me. Yeah. And I speak about the council, but also Public Works. I mean, there were times, I remember it was early last year, a guy called me and said a tree fell down outside his house, and it was about 4:30. And I called Brian, and Brian's like, I'm on my way home. I'll swing by on my way home off the clock, and I'll assess the damage. Went by 5 o'clock, Public Works was there cutting the tree up, getting it out of the street.
Yeah.
And it made me look like a hero.
Yeah.
I did nothing. All I did was make a phone call.
Yeah.
But when I get those compliments, I make sure that residents know that we can't accomplish anything without a great team. And we have a great team. I am grateful that I was able to become mayor and have two guys like you part of my staff. So thank you.
And we have a good group of guys that work for us now. So
Absolutely.
it's, they're very responsive.
Yep, and up and down through the municipal building to every department, we have a lot of good people who are dedicated to our town. So let's swing over to roads. You touched on a little bit about roads, Frank, already. I know we maintained this year. We had somebody call. I believe it was A Carver Road. All along the sides were not being cut. Some of the residents were getting upset, but that's a county road.
Yes.
We don't cut that. We don't maintain it. We're not allowed to cut or maintain it.
No.
So let's talk, briefly about what our responsibilities are on some of these roads and what are the challenges we have, whether it be paving. I know the last probably 6 months or so, South Jersey Gas has been cutting up roads all throughout town. A lot of them were not township roads. They did a subpar job on the temporary patch, which caused a lot of friction for us as well.
Yeah.
So if you can just touch real quick on how we maintain roads, what roads we're allowed to do things, what roads we're not allowed to do things, and just so the residents can understand the process from our side.
All right. So Washington Township obviously has over 700 roads, and that includes cul-de-sacs, but we're mainly residential areas. So all those main roads like Green Tree, Egg Harbor, Pittman Downer, Gantown, they're all county roads. So Chapel Heights is also a county road. So anything that goes on with that, it's within the county jurisdiction. Yes, South Jersey Gas has been upgrading their service and replacing mains and developments. Also, they've been doing gas lines up to every individual residence. So with that being said, they do a patch to do their work, and then per ordinance, they have to come back and do a finished repair, more or less. So, what they're required to do is only 12 inches beyond what they actually did from their service. So, as of right now, I mean, it makes it look not aesthetically pleasing when a road is cut up like that, but that's all they're required to do. And the reason they don't do a full paving is because there's other factors that go in with just resurfacing a road. There's concrete work, whether or not it's curb work. There's ADA regulations that have to meet code as far as the ADA ramps on every corner. So South Jersey Gas is not going to be responsible for that. And then sometimes if they pave more than what they're required to do, if it's not engineered as far as elevations and surveys and stuff, it could puddle. And then the puddling is only going to be back on the responsibility of the township and us.
And we're dealing with that right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why they only repair what they repair, because that's all they're required, number one. And, like I said, moving forward, we can revisit the ordinance and see if we can, expand what they actually repair to make it look a little bit more pleasing. But, until the road is actually budgeted for a resurface, a mill and resurface, and done the correct way, is when it'll actually look, nice.
That's great.
So let me jump in on, I'm going to give you that full list of roads that aren't ours, because a lot of questions we get. There's also state roads that come through our town, and we often get questioned about, hey, the median on 42, the grass is 3 foot high. That is not Washington Township's responsibility. That's the state highway department. So in town we have 42, 168, and Delsey Drive that are all the responsibility of the state DOT. From a county road aspect, Frank touched on a couple. I think I have them all memorized. There's Fry's Mill, Herfield Cross Keys, Herfield Grenlock, Pittman Downer, Fry's Mill Road, Glassboro Cross Keys, what am I missing?
Chapel Heights.
Chapel Heights Road,
Green Tree,
Green Tree, and Gantown. So there's like 7 or 8 of
So
those.
Fish Pond, Johnson Road, or municipal?
Fish Pond is not. Johnson Road is.
Okay.
Okay. So during a snowstorm, the county road takes care of their roads. The state takes care of their roads. So if Green Tree Road is troublesome, we can't do anything. We can't divert our resources to do anything because we have our own responsibilities. Same thing goes for grass cutting. Not only obviously do we maintain sports fields and buildings, but we cut all those open space we talked about. Any of those right of ways along the county roads, that's their responsibility, not the town's. You brought up those fences. Those fences get destroyed, car accidents, snow plow. That is the county's fence, not the township's fence. So trying to touch on a couple things that we get calls in the office for that people might not understand.
Roadkill, right? I mean, I know I had a couple of calls that there's been deer that have been hit by a car that's been on the road 3, 4, 5 days. We're not allowed to touch it.
No. So we used to pick up dead deer, but then we got in trouble with the DEP because we didn't have a real good way to dispose of them. Honestly, we used to have an open space area that we buried them years ago. I'm going back a dozen years.
It's in your yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, longer.
Maybe even longer than that. But we cease and desist. Stop. The county has a service. Whenever there's a dead deer, you can call the Gloucester County Road Department. Doesn't matter if it's a municipal road, a state road. Well, the state will do their roads. Or a county road, no matter where it is. If it's out by the road and it's in your development, call the county road department. They pay a service that comes out and gets it. It's supposed to be picked up within 48 hours of reporting. Not always the case, but we don't pick up dead deer anymore. So that is solely the responsibility of the county road department.
It has to be at the curb, but they won't go on your personal property and pull a deer off your lawn. So if it ends up getting hit and dies on you got to somehow
Get it to
the curb. I don't know, if you have a nice neighbor, if you can do it yourself, but they won't come on your personal property.
We'll get it to the stove.
Yeah.
Depends how close to the house
You
it
get
is.
it quick enough.
Makes it sure.
dinner.
All right, so let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about trash. So last year in 2025, we went out to bid. We wound up switching companies with the premise that we had to go to a different service, which is the One Arm Bandit.
Yes.
Frank, I see you getting a little tense when
Yes,
you talk about
well,
trash.
because
You start twitching when we talk about trash.
It was a big change. It was a big change for us. It was a big change for the residents of Washington Township.
It was a major change, and it's funny. I believe 2 of our surrounding towns already have reached out to me and our BA Joe Russo that they're going to be doing the same change this upcoming year. So everybody's doing it. I believe we were the 19th county township in the county to switch out of the 22.
Yeah.
So Frank, I guess if you can elaborate a little bit on, how we offer extra cans, why we offer extra cans, bulk trash, how to schedule, the pickup of the green stuff in the winter. So I would like you to touch on how that service became, what the service is, how they can get an extra can if they want, how many cans are allowed, the bulk trash change, and the greens pickup, the yard waste pickup in the winter months.
All right. So early on in 2025, we had to educate as much as we possibly could the residents of Washington Township. So we had to figure out how many cans we needed as far as the order of the carts. They actually classify them as carts. We call them cans, but they're carts. So during that process, we had to get the number of businesses throughout the town. We had had all the supervisors, including myself, drive to town, different roads, figure out what was a business, what was a residence, and who would actually get what.
Yeah, who had dumpsters, who
Who had dumpsters and so forth. So that was a challenge in itself. That was very time consuming. So once that information was gathered, we put together a number of cans that we had to order. So with it's just under 15,000 homes. So we had to order 3 cans per home. And we are offering the 3 cans per residence, which we did. So it ended up being like 43,000 cans is what the township had to order. So picture that coming in truckloads and where we were going to distribute and have an area to distribute all these cans out.
And they had to be assembled too, right?
They had to be assembled.
43,000 cans came with wheels on another side and axes on the other side.
It was a process, but part of the contract was the company was assembling the cans and delivering, which that was a big help. But they also caused a lot of headaches because a lot of the stuff was so matter of fact to them that a lot of the wheels popped off in the very beginning. So we actually had a lot of complaints with cans like kind of falling apart, whether the lids fell off or the wheels fell off. But we had initiated that change over June 30th. It was actually the beginning of July, and it's been about 6 months now. So in the first 3 months, there was a lot of stumbling blocks, which to be expected. But now 6 months in, it's gotten a lot better. The one-armed bandits are basically working out, and and the neighborhoods are much cleaner. We tried to get away from the curb line of trash at every residence. Like when people flipped homes, they put beds and furniture and bathroom stuff and sheetrock, and it looked horrible. So these new cans implemented a cleaner, safer environment for everybody, and it's just a nicer look, and it actually shows now. So with that being said, every household got one trash, one recycling, and one yard waste as the initial rollout. Every resident has the option to actually lease another can if they choose, which they can actually come right here, 523 Egg Harbor Road, and come to our Public Works office. Each can lease is $100, but it's for 10 years. So it's a pretty good deal, and it's under warranty for 10 years. So if it breaks, we replace it.
And I don't think in 10 years we're going to be coming to your house looking for the can. If you move, it stays with the residents.
Yes.
And also point out that you do not have to bring it home with you. Another job that Public Works has been doing since we implemented this system, we deliver the can to your home. When you come in, you pay the ladies in the office, and they set up a schedule. It's generally the next day after you come in and place your order that we deliver that can, unless there's some unforeseen circumstances like a big snowstorm. But we still did get those cans out the last couple of days. So just to note, because some people had asked me, well, if I go buy a new can, do I need a pickup truck or whatever? We do deliver.
Yeah.
Great.
I do want to touch on recycling and yard waste because we have been getting a lot of plastic bags in debris in those recycling cans and yard waste cans, and we get fined. We have been getting fined every single month since the plans since it initiated. These fines are between $4,000 and $5,000 a month for plastic bags. Please do not put plastic in the recycling or yard waste can. If you want to bag any loose leaf grass or small branches or anything like that, you can buy the brown disposable bags.
Yeah.
You can put them in your green yard waste can only. But as far as the recycling, that's just your single number 1, number 2 plastic. Your cardboard has to be broken down. They don't want stuff like sticking out with the lid open. Please break that stuff down. It really makes a big difference. And as far as the yard waste, as far as the time frame from December 1st to February 28th. So these 3 months, every resident, if you have a yard waste can to put out, you have to call Suburban Disposal directly. And they can be reached at 973-227-7020. Or you can use our website at thetownshipnj.com and click on the yard waste link and schedule your yard waste pickup 48 hours prior to your collection day. So if your collection day is on Monday, please call and by that previous Thursday. 48 2 business days.
Going through the process on the website literally takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You click on a link, it takes you directly to Suburban Disposal. You put in your zone, which is your trash day, and click your day, and they come and get it. And that is just the green can.
Yes.
Nothing else. That's not loose leaf leaves. We come and pick those up with a goal of weekly pickup, but we're going to touch on leaves shortly, but that is just the green yard waste can. You don't have to schedule loose leaf collection.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. And bulk, you wanted to touch on bulk
Yes.
trash.
So bulk trash is we had gone down to used to be weekly prior to this new contract, but we're now down to once a month basically. So every trash collection day. So if your trash and bulk, let me retract this. So bulk items are items that cannot fit in the can.
Right.
That's a bulk. So that's a mattress, that's a patio set, that's a piece of furniture. It's up to 3 large items per household.
Not any bags though. That's a question we
Not-
get a lot. Can we put
no
out
plastic
additional
bags.
trash bags on bulk day? And
So I've had
that's a
some of
no.
you guys, if they put a sectional out and there's 4 pieces, is that considered one piece being a full sectional, or is each piece considered
It's-
one piece for bulk?
It's considered each piece. Now, whether or not you put that out there, I think these guys are pretty good. They may collect that 4th piece. They just don't want to spend a lot of time because they're under a time frame.
Right.
They have so
been-
many.
They've been pretty liberal with that. What they don't want to see is what Frank was touching on. And my wife, who was in real estate, is in real estate, and folks would sell a home and they would have their whole house
Yeah, we
out
saw
at the
that.
curb.
Yes.
Literally from the driveway down to the neighbor's property. They're trying to avoid that. They're good if you put out a sectional that's 3 pieces and an end table
Yeah.
or something like. Well, they just don't want to be there picking up at
For
your
an hour.
house for an hour. So they've been very good. I will say, I think Frank would concur. Suburban Disposal has been excellent. They're real easy to work with. Their drivers go above and beyond for a lot of things. And I think if you put 1 or 2 extra things out, they're probably going to pick it up. It's just they're not looking for that whole giant mess.
Great.
Yeah, and if any item is missed, say they missed, you had your bulk item out there on your specific Friday, which I will go over shortly, just call our office, 856-589-0523, and let one of the girls know, and we'll have a phone call made out to one of the supervisors, and we'll get that stuff. They're really responsive on picking that stuff up.
Great.
So as far as the bulk days, if your trash day is a Monday, you're the first Friday of every month. If your trash day is Tuesday, you're the second Friday of the month. Wednesday, you're the third Friday. Thursday, regular trash collection day, you're the 4th Friday. And Friday trash collection, you're the 3rd Friday. So Wednesday and Fridays are the 3rd Fridays of the month. So it's just once a month.
Are there any like specific items that cannot be thrown out? Like refrigerators can be thrown out on bulk day. Is that correct? Or is it?
So for white goods,
White
we
goods.
can either come to the office and pay $20, and Public Works on Tuesdays would pick up refrigerators, washer dryers, that type of thing. Or if you have the ability to bring those items to our recycling yard at 2 McClure Drive, we take it for free.
So any recyclable materials, electronic recycling, TVs, anything with a cord, that would be white goods pickup. They do not pick up any metal. They won't pick up any electronics on your bulk day. We had that
Yes.
conversation last week. Someone brought to our attention that they didn't feel the ordinance was very clear. It's kind of covered in 2 separate ordinances, but white goods pickup is separate from bulk pickup. And that white goods pickup is every single week,
Yes.
every Tuesday if you make arrangements through our office.
And I think that's something people get confused is they throw the old toaster, they throw it in recycle, right? They
Yes.
see it as metal, they
Yep.
think they could just recycle it.
So
it
true.
doesn't go in recycle.
No, that would
It-
be e-waste.
Yes. So let's touch on the leaf pickup. I've actually had quite a few people comment that it's a service that's phenomenally offered here in Township. A couple of people lived in other towns. One lived actually in the Midwest and said they didn't even offer leaf pickup, and sometimes it was once a month. We offer it weekly. So touch on the service we offer, and I believe we extended it this year.
Yep. So leaf collection is our baby here in Washington Township. We're very proud of it. It has evolved over the years, and this is an advantage of, I kind of gave my background of working in the department for as long as I did before getting this position. The old way of doing leaves and the way a lot of neighboring towns do leaves is they designate a section of town and say your leaf collection is this particular week. So I'm just going to use Whitman Square as an example. A lot of leaves over there, an area I know well. we would say we're going to be in Whitman Square this entire week. Well, all the leaves would go out. We'd pick up the leaves in 1 or 2 days. And then the rest of the week, we'd be driving around looking for piles. And I felt like, and this is back when I was a laborer, I was like, man, this is really inefficient. So we had approached the management team some time ago. I guess we've probably been doing this for 15 years now or so, with the idea of let's follow our trash collection pickup schedule and let people's leaf collection day be the next day. And it's a much more efficient use of time because you're out in an area, you're picking up the leaves that are there, and then you're not searching for leaves the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So we changed over to that method, and it works very well. We have 8 leaf collection machines here in town. And again, we talked about the amount of folks we have. When you take everyone out of that mix, we have about 17 people. Well, it takes 16 people to man all of those leaf collectors. So it's an all-encompassing service that we provide. And we generally start sometime in mid-October. Depends, we kind of are dynamic with the start date. We look for the leaves to fall because we don't want to be out too soon where, again, we're driving around wasting fuel and time. So we start picking up mid-October, and we have historically stopped right around Christmas. But now with the implementation of this new trash collection system, and you can only fit so many leaves in your green can, as opposed to folks used to be able to bag them in this like winter months and put them all out at the curb to get picked up. Can't do that now. So we have extended leaf collection, weather permitting, all the way through to May 1st. So we will be out with just 1 or 2 trucks. Obviously, the volume's not going to be there that we have to be out in full force, but we've extended the pickup all the way to May 1st, and you don't have to call. We'll have people out scouring the areas, and we'll just pick up your leaves if they're out. So the goal of leaf collection pickup is at a minimum of bi-weekly, but it generally works out that we're there every week. The only time you might get skipped is if we have heavy rain. You can't pick up leaves efficiently in heavy rain. You're out there beating the crap out of your equipment. Your people are really struggling. The leaves just they don't come up well when it rains. So we build in the every other week collection, but generally you'll get picked up every week. The exception to that, again, would be weather. Then we do have a couple short weeks during the main peak season. We have Thanksgiving. So we don't follow a collection schedule that week because we only have a 3-day work week. And then when we get to Christmas, we also only have a 3-day work week. We don't follow a schedule with that. But it's a very efficient process. Our guys work very hard. They work extra hours. They'll work Saturdays. And thank you guys for approving the resources to make that happen. And all the leaves that are collected, this is important to folks, they don't go in a landfill. They get recycled locally at 2 organic vegetable farms. One is just outside of town on Pittman Downer Road. It's Muth Family Farms. He takes half our leaves, and then Rambo Farms, which leases a property from us on Fish Pond Road, takes the rest. They all go back into the earth. They don't clog up a landfill. They help to grow vegetables and soybeans and things of that nature. So it's a great service we provide. Super proud of it. People seem to be extremely happy with that service.
I was not aware of that. That's amazing. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep.
It's a great service.
Yeah.
People are very happy with it.
Yep. And if we ever miss, I guess I could get in a quick couple FAQs. I could talk about this stuff forever. Try not to put the leaves on top of a storm drain. Don't mix a bunch of sticks and brush in with the leaves. If we have a pile that's covered in sticks, brush, bushes, we don't pick it up. We don't have time to sit there and
It clogs the hose.
pull
It's a
everything
mess.
out to pick up the leaves.
It just delays.
Be mindful of trees, right? This thing is, 15 or so feet tall. If you put a big pile underneath a tree where there's a branch, we can't get to it. That requires extra resources. The guys have to shovel it out. Try to keep them away from cars, basketball nets, anything like that would hinder us. And the whole apparatus itself is like 30 feet long, and the hose is about midship. So if you're on a dead end, You want to put them far enough out that we can actually get the hose to it. So a couple of things that help us with our collection. But if you ever have any questions about that, we've said the number once, 856-589-0523. We have a wonderful staff who will point you in the right direction and take care of any complaints that we receive from that service.
That's great. So before we get into the big one, the snow, Christmas trees.
Yes.
So you want to let people know how we're picking up trees. You don't have to call to have them picked up. They don't go in the cans. So if you want to elaborate on that a little bit.
So for those residents that still get live Christmas trees, Public Works will be collecting them the day after your trash day. So for the whole month of January. So if your trash day is Monday, Public Works will be around on Tuesday, following the same leaf program, but it'll be the day after trash to pick up any live trees, obviously weather permitting, for the month of January.
Okay, great.
So
All right, so let's get into the snow. As Brian had mentioned, just 2 days ago, we got our first snowstorm of 2025. So I guess what we're looking to accomplish on this one is let's explain the process, right? I mean, I know there's probably just as many people unhappy that are happy. And I want to kind of, I guess, explain to them what the process is, why the process is, what our goals are, and how we navigate through it. So we know they've been predicting, 3 to 5 inches all week. We were prepared. We got prepared. The snow started, I believe it was Saturday all night, but it was mostly a rain. It didn't really accumulate. It started accumulating about 5 a.m. in the morning, correct, Ryan?
A little sooner than that.
Okay. So you can take it from there, I guess.
Yeah. So, listen, snow. Each snowstorm is different, right? I don't sleep when I know it's going to snow. I'm see something in the forecast and I'm watching it a week away, and watching the forecast get fine-tuned, and then when we get about 2 days out, we start to really get a clearer picture of what we're going to see. So at that point, and this one fell at a time where we're still full force collecting leaves. So our preparation couldn't start until after we finished our leaf collection for this past week. So I had to watch and see, okay, looks like it's going to be, X amount of inches. So we kind of got ahead of our leaf program. On Friday, we started breaking that equipment down. So we have to remove all the leaf collectors, and we start prepping the equipment with salters, plows, and all that. So between Friday and Saturday, we had our whole in-house fleet ready to go, which currently we have a couple trucks down, but we're currently at 16 pieces of equipment that we have in-house that we can use for snow removal. So we kind of come up with a plan, and works for every storm, where we come in to start working these main roads before the snow stops. So we have a list. When I say main roads, we have a list of about 120 roads that examples of these roads would be Whitman Drive, Johnson Road, Wilson Road, Herfill Road, Salina Road, Bells Lake Road.
Main arteries.
They're main arteries that go through every development. Every single development in town has one or more of these main arteries. And the thought process behind that is that even if your side road isn't done, you're not going to have to travel more than 1 mile to get to a road that's going to be plowed and salted, that's going to lead you to a county or state road that we had talked about earlier. So I'm going to just talk on this particular snowstorm and how we went about it timing-wise, and it's pretty much the model that we'll follow for every snowstorm. Again, unless we're talking about, 1.5 foot of snow, it might alter what we do. So we come in at a time where we know, okay, there's going to be 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground when we get started. No more than that. And we instantly go out during the height of the storm and we start clearing those 120 roads continuously until the snow stops. Okay. And with a forecast like we had, where, even last minute, it kind of jumped to 5 to 8 inches. We were looking at 1 to 3, even early Saturday morning, and then it jumped to 5 to 8. We start thinking about bringing in subcontractors, because obviously, 15, 16 pieces of equipment is not a lot. And let me back up and say we have 720 municipal roads that we have to care for. It's 21 square miles. I forget the linear mileage, but it's quite a bit of linear mileage of road that we cover. So obviously 15, 16 pieces of equipment aren't going to cut it when you know you're going to have 5 inches of snow. So Sunday morning, we reached out to our subcontractor who bids on this type of work. We put it out for an RFP. We solicit bids and accept those bids, and they provide us with additional resources or additional apparatus to attack the snowstorm.
So that whole process is really, it's a gambling method, correct? I mean, you don't want to bring them in too early because then if you don't need them, then we're mismanaging our taxpayer money and bringing in a contractor when we don't need it.
Correct.
I mean, it would probably be easier if they said it was 1 to 2 inches or 10 to 12 inches.
Correct.
But when you're around that 3 inch, you kind of almost have to juggle and say, okay, do I need to bring the contractors in and spend taxpayer money, or can we handle it in-house because it's lower? So you're always teetering back and forth of, when do I make the call? Am I going to make the right call or not the right call?
100%. Leading into Sunday, I was up, not an exaggeration, every hour looking out my window because we went to sleep with not a lot of certainty as to, here's what we knew. And shout out to Nor'easter Nick. He said there's a 90% chance that we're going to get a one inch snowstorm. That was what was certain. There was
Right.
But when I went to sleep, it was there could be snow bands that certain places in this circled area could get up to 6, 7, 8 inches. So I'm looking out the window and I'm saying, okay, it's 2:00. There's only a little coating on the. Okay, we're looking good. Fall back asleep again. Get up at 4 a.m. All right, there's a little bit more. On my way into work at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning, I wasn't certain if we were going to need contractors at that point, and they're all standing by waiting for me to say, hey, or Frank and I collaborate on this. Hey, we need you or we don't. And they said to me, look, you got to let me know by 7 if you're going to need us because we're going to allocate our resources elsewhere.
And that call can triple the cost.
Oh, yes.
To service the snow, correct? So,
Yes.
so I mean, it could be 3 times the amount by making that phone call.
Correct.
So you try to hold out as long as you
as I possibly can.
not to spend that money.
Yes. So coming in on Sunday morning, right away when I got to Green Tree Road, I realized, okay, there's enough snow out here and it's going to snow until about 10 or 11 o'clock that we're going to need to get the subs in. So as soon as we got in, we dispatched our 15 trucks out to start hitting all those main roads, plow, and then they throw salt down on those main roads. At 10 o'clock, we had the subcontractors come in and we started plowing the whole entire town around 10 o'clock. That was with the subcontractors and our in-house people. So they all came off of those main roads that they were working and they started in a certain district. So the way we have the town broken down, we have it broken down into 4 quadrants that are separated. The dividing lines are Green Tree Road, Egg Harbor Road. Once you get to the end of Egg Harbor, out Cross Keys until you hit Williamstown, and those are our 4 districts. So we started the contractors in one district, Public Works started in another, and the whole entire process, that particular snowstorm, went from 10 a.m. is when we started a full plow operation. We finished the town at 8 p.m. So it took 10 hours to do the whole town with, I ended up with 38 total pieces of equipment. So between us and them. So this is where you get into, an explanation as to why certain areas look a certain way and other areas look another way. Nothing would make me happier than to be able to converge on this whole town in one shot and plow it all simultaneously and get out of here and go home. It's just not realistic to do what we did in 10 hours with 40 pieces of equipment. If we wanted to condense that and get it done while the sun was up and the plowing conditions were ideal, we would have needed 3 to 4 times the amount of equipment that we had, and it's just not available. There's not that many people giving us bids on the RFPs. Doesn't make sense for us to have 100 trucks sitting around all year that we're not going to touch unless we get 2 or 3 snowstorms. So we have to work within our budget and we have to work with what's available to us. So And we have to start somewhere, and those areas that look like, there's certain neighborhoods that you can eat off the street right now because the sun came up. It was, right around freezing, 28 degrees or so. It was a wet snow. It peeled off the street very easily. Then as soon as you got to 4 or 5 o'clock and that sun started setting and those temperatures started rapidly dropping, now the developments that we get to at that point in time already are kind of packed down from folks driving over them. Mother Nature, we can't control the temperatures. It starts freezing. And you're going to have a sheen of ice left when you push the snow. And that doesn't matter what kind of equipment you have in there. I had loaders in certain areas with metal cutting edges, and they can't get through that last little bit of ice. And you have to be careful when you use loaders and stuff with metal edges, because you can really beat up your infrastructure, your manhole covers, storm sewers, all that. So a lot of the phone calls we got were from a certain corner of town, and it just so happened that during this snowstorm, that was the last area that we got to. And, one question that we often get, well, why don't you salt every road? When you get down below 26, 25 degrees with no sun, all the salt in the world isn't going to change the condition of that road. You need temperatures closer to freezing, and you need sunlight. That is what happens. That's how you melt it. We have a couple trouble areas in town that I've probably dumped 2 or 3 truckloads of salt on them over the last couple of days. Places that we know are treacherous with hills and curves. It won't melt until it gets the sun. And we have to be responsible with what we do. And it just doesn't make sense to go blasting salt all over the place on roads where it's not going to improve the conditions.
I think one of the analogies you used from the very first time I got involved with the township was get a bowl, fill it up with ice cubes, put as much salt as you want in it, put it back in the freezer. Next morning, open up that freezer and you still have a bowl of ice cubes.
Yes.
It's not going to melt unless you have the sun and I've used that analogy, so I've sold it and I've given you props for it. But it kind of puts it in perspective of what the theory is behind it. I know some of the questions I had, and I spoke with a resident the other day, is what's the rhyme or reason of who do you get to when? I know everybody's going to say, well, the council probably got their roads done and the mayor got their roads done. I didn't get a plow until after 7 o'clock.
Yes, you were last.
Just so happened how it laid out, and I know that somebody's got to be road 650, and somebody's got to be road 690, and somebody's got to be road 719. It just, how does it usually fall once you get the main arteries? How do you divvy the rest of the roads up?
So we usually start in the same areas, but no snowstorm starts at the same time. So it's not like we can say, hey, we started over in this area for this storm, let's go to this area for the next storm, because it might be that it stops snowing in the middle of the night, and then the developments that are going to look better are going to be the ones that we're doing later because the sun is up and it's a better condition to plow in. You can't really control it. What we do is start where we think it's going to be most efficient.
Well, I can tell you, for the most part, everybody does appreciate what you guys do, especially during the snow. And Brian told me something yesterday, in our 23rd phone call, I think, and since the storm, that people don't realize too is, like, Brian's never went sledding with his kids. His kids are 11, 12 years old. When snowstorms come, he's here.
Yeah.
He's here nonstop for the next 48 hours. And, he doesn't get to do things fathers get to do with their kids because he's serving the town. So, when the frustration comes in and people are upset and upset for not a really legitimate reason, it's almost like a personal attack to him and his family. So, I hope, we appreciate everybody's patience. We appreciate what you tolerate. But I guess we want you more to understand what the method is, what the madness is, and that they are sacrificing. Those guys for Public Works were on a road, 5:30 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night?
They were about 15 hours straight, and that's the thing.
And no breaks, right? Not no breaks, but you said, hey, don't go stop and have lunch for an hour. If you're going to stop, grab a sandwich, grab a coffee, grab your tent, recharge your battery, and get back out on the road.
That's my biggest, bugaboo with snow. Like I'll say, snow is one of the few 4-letter words that I hate. The other ones I use a lot to describe how I feel about snow. But it's really a stressful time to do this job, and it's not because a lack of confidence in what we're doing. I have been here long enough. Frank's been here long enough. We know how to get this town done. It's that no matter what you do, the expectation sometimes is doesn't meet reality with what you can do, right? We can't battle science. The road's going to freeze no matter how, look at Green Tree Road. It was pre-treated several times. When I was coming into work, it was completely snow covered. So people say, well, why don't you brine every road? Well, it's not going to be effective. Do you want me to just spray? It's basically, I say it's like spraying dollar signs out to get no result, so people can say we did something. We are here with a purpose, and I guess back to my original point, I get a little upset because I know how hard our department is working. Our guys are working. I've gotten used to it. I believe in what we're doing. I know we're doing it right. But the guys that are in here working for 16 hours, 15 hours straight, and again, I'm asking a lot of them to say, hey, listen, let's not take an extended break today because I want to take advantage of the sunlight, and I know the more we can get done during the day, better job we're going to have. Then these guys, and it's their job and they understand that, but they're away from their family, and yes, they're getting compensated for it, but a lot of people still don't like to do it. It's not a fun job, and they're not sitting in the shop with their feet up for 16 hours. They're on the road continuously doing the job, and you have some comments that you'll see, 3 hours in, no plow yet. Well, we have 700 roads and 40 pieces of equipment. I would love to have more. Maybe some snow companies will see this and we'll get some more response to our RFPs. Because if we add, then it's not like we're spending more money. We'll be able to do it in a quicker fashion. But we put out to bid, we solicit bids, we talk to people in the industry. We had 23 pieces of equipment that were added, and that was it. So we have to work with what we have, and our people work very hard. They're not just sitting there relaxing. They're out there pushing snow the whole time they're here.
Please let them know we do appreciate them,
Absolutely.
and you and what you did. And it's funny, way before I got involved, and I'm sure same with you two guys, is when I see snow, I see dollar signs now. I'm like, oh my God, how much is this going to cost our budget? Right. I mean, like that whatever, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, depending on how big the storm is, it could be used for a road or a playground or a sports team or something.
Absolutely.
And, so it's funny, I think Frank got appointed and we got a snowstorm in the first couple of days, right? I mean, it was like we couldn't dodge it. And it's a totally different mindset when you deal with the snow from this side as opposed to just being a resident and not thinking or knowing any of this. So I guess the goal was to kind of get some of this information to the residents so they can kind of understand that, again, we are doing everything we can with all the variables we have to juggle with every time a snowflake falls.
And I feel like this media and getting the information out there is helpful. I had a resident call me yesterday, and crazy as it sounds, I do welcome and enjoy the phone calls because it's an opportunity.
What was Brian's number again? No, I'm kidding.
You can put it out there. I don't mind.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
It's an opportunity to talk to folks that might be a little upset, and then when you give them the information and the facts, they kind of get it. This woman was a nurse, and she said, I worked all night, and I came home, and my street it still had ice on it, and she said, then you came by this morning at 11 o'clock and salted it. Why did it take so long? And the answer is simply that's we only have 9 trucks that throw salt, right? So, and the effectiveness of salt, as we talked about earlier, I could put all the salt in the world down the night before. It's not going to do anything until that sun comes up. So we plowed until every street was plowed to get that heavy, buildup off, and then we attack the roads that we knew were done later in the day or during our plowing operation We had a full-scale assault on all those developments yesterday morning. And it took 4 or 5 hours, but we did salt all those streets because we knew that, hey, these were the areas that we got too late. They are the roads that have the most ice. So we went out and did it. And she said, okay, thank you for explaining that. That makes a lot of sense. And, we know what we're doing. There's always a method to the madness, and we're trying to be dynamic and because each storm is different and come up with the best way to improve the road conditions as much as we can. Because while blacktop is a fantastic thing to see after you're done, it's kind of an unrealistic expectation on every road in town. Our goal is to make a road passable, that if you are a nurse or you're a first responder, that your road is plowed enough that you can get out to that main road that is salted to death throughout the whole storm. Because again, the salt also needs traffic. It needs that friction and the heat from the tires to help activate it. So there's definitely a method. It's not like, hey, we're picking and choosing based on favoritism or this, that, or that. We're picking and choosing what works. And the plan will change if we were to get a forecast of 15 inches. With 15 inches, we know we are doing the whole town twice. Yeah. It's unavoidable because people can't get to a main road if there's 15 inches of snow. And we've dealt with that in the past, knock on wood. We haven't had that in the recent history, but there's been times where, we will plow twice. We will do what we have to do to get people where they need to get. But most importantly, if you don't have to go anywhere, don't.
Yeah.
Sit back and enjoy the view, have a cup of coffee.
And what you also have to understand, the more snow, by the time it's actually pushed to the side of the road, now 6 inches is now 2 foot.
Yeah.
So when it rolls off of that plow, it's a lot. So 15, 16, I hope we never get it.
Nicole's never getting back in the driveway after that one.
I don't think anybody's getting in any driveway.
Well, I think we have to wrap this one up. Guys, I'm going to thank you for coming on and giving us all this information. I want to thank you guys for all you guys do. I mean,
Appreciate you guys so much.
You're welcome.
You guys do a lot for our town to keep it looking the way it does, and it's been a pleasure working with you guys.
Same.
Especially as your mayor this first year. Is there anything you guys want to add in closing, or?
Street lights. If there's any street lights out, it helps to have the actual pole number from that street light, or you can give us an address and just either you can call our office, the Public Works office, and we'll get that. We do it right. The office does it right online.
Great. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, mine is more personal. I'm not just the guy that works here. I'm your neighbor. I'm a lifelong resident. My whole entire family lives here with the exception of my brother. He's the reject that moved to the next town over. But what we do is important to us. We value your feedback. I mean it when I say you want to talk to me, call 589-0523, ask the secretaries to put you through to my extension. I want to understand what upsets our residents, and I really am grateful for the opportunity to come here and speak in this forum to try if 15 people learn something from what we just talked about, and that makes them feel a little happier about what we're doing, that makes me happy. But we're here to serve, we're here to provide information, and everything that we do reflects personally and professionally on us. So it is important to us. The comments that we see on social media, you'll see sometimes I respond to them, against my better judgment, but I feel like, hey, if I can just put this out there and it makes someone understand a little bit more, that makes me happy because we do care about what we're doing. It's not like, whatever, I don't care what anybody says. It is taken personally when you've dedicated more than half of your life to working and serving for a town. So my phone is always on. Please call with any questions that you have that comes from this conversation or anything else that impacts you as a resident.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Councilman Harris?
No, Frank and Brian, we appreciate you coming out. Did a great job, I think, disseminating that information and getting the town to know you guys a little bit better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President?
Listen, guys, both of you, thank you so much. Brian, thank you so much. You always take my calls. Brian will take my calls at 7:30 at night, 9:30 at night. Nicole's like, Brian, why is this guy calling me?
She doesn't say that.
They keep me a deer right now on a road that this guy, but Brian, you're awesome that way, and I truly do appreciate it. And like the mayor says, it makes us look good, but it really is the hard work that you guys do. We got to spend some time with you guys and the team over for the Christmas party. Appreciate all their hard work. They really do so much. We really are so appreciative. And although you see some comments out there, get a lot of compliments.
Yeah, a lot.
You hear some negativity, but it's very small. I mean, we have a very big town. We're 52,000 plus residents. So you said over 700 roads. So we have a lot. So when you hear just a couple of comments here and there, the majority of people really do appreciate the hard work that you guys and the team put in. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say, again, like I said earlier, I'm grateful to have such great people around me. It's been a pleasure so far in my first year. I love all the information we got out. Part of the purpose of this podcast is to get people the information so you understand what's happening. And a lot of this information could be no matter where you live. If you live in Gloucester Township or Glassboro, I'm sure it's the same struggles and same juggling that they have to do that we do here. So whether you're a township resident or not, this information is still pertinent to you. So that's the purpose of this podcast. We've had a couple released already. We've had some positive feedback. We're still open to any suggestions, criticisms, ideas you guys have. Please reach out to us. We want this to be more focused towards our town, and we appreciate you guys listening. We look forward to our next episode. And until then, we'll see you beyond the welcome sign. Thank you.